great.
We had
Great.
quality time.
Yay,
Okay.
I'm happy about that.
Yeah, you were both at the film festival last year.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Yep.
There we go. You've got that in common already.
Yes.
Okay. Congratulations to both of you. My
Thank
God,
you.
what a great film. And I want to know how Terminator savvy were the two of you before you started this? Do you want to start?
You might as well have written them.
Yeah. I actually did write them. I
When he
wrote
was
T2
4.
when I was 4. Pretty good for a 4-year-old.
Not bad.
No, I was a huge fan. Huge. I mean, obviously T1 came out about 5 years before I was born. But I saw T2 on television, and it was the greatest thing I'd ever seen at that point. And so I got my parents to rent Terminator 1, and I watched it, and I was obsessed. I mean, I had all the action figures. I had a factory that made gelatin Terminators. Everything for me became Arnold's shotgun. Everything, like anything I could pick up, I'd be like, ch-ch, just immediately. So I was a huge fan.
You were
huge fan.
destined.
No, I mean, he kind of was. And it's perfect because the role of Kyle Reese, I mean, it's such an iconic role. You really want someone that's going to be reverent of that and really genuinely appreciate that. And I think, we got the right guy.
Yeah. I mean, you had a very difficult role. This is a very complex character. We're not just
Yeah.
walking on set and like, yeah, right, give me, go action.
Right.
How did you prepare mentally to play this guy? And how did he become so tough, to become who he became?
Well, I think a lot of it was I would just watch T1 over and over again. I'd seen it a bunch of times anyway, but I sat down and I rewatched the whole thing, and then I took apart specific scenes and I noted these characteristics in him, mainly, the vulnerability, the anger, the paranoia, and just the strength. I mean, he's an incredibly strong individual, and also the how centered he is in terms of his mission, and everything is an objective to him, and I took those things and I said, how does that relate to someone that's 20? How do you take all of those things and make a 20-year-old out of them, or an 18-year-old or whatever? And to me, there's a trajectory in film where you start off with someone that you know is going to become a hero, but he's really weak and has no idea what he's doing at the beginning. And that trajectory just seemed false to me and didn't apply to this character, Kyle Reese is never weak. He always knows what's going on. He's survived in a city where everyone else is dead and he is alive, and that was the key to me. So you have the strength there already, and then you have the anger and the paranoia and the vulnerability that comes out of living this life when you could just be living a life like any other kid. He's old enough to remember a time when there wasn't an apocalypse, and yet here he is and he has no regular life, so there's so much frustration there. And I thought, I know kids that are so frustrated and their responses to things don't always have an objective, and that's something that the military would give him and he doesn't have yet. So that's kind of how I broke it down, and I wrote all this down, and I left McG, I think, like 3 or 4 messages from LA, like probably like, like it was like a podcast of messages, and I got to Albuquerque, and that was what we worked the script around as opposed to the other way around.
Amazing. And then Kate, she's also obviously a very strong character.
Mm-hmm.
Just to be married to somebody like John Connor.
Yeah.
How do they complement each other, John and Kate?
Well, I feel like Kate has, you actually got this from the third film. She has an understanding of sacrifice. She's familiar with sacrifice. Her father was in the military, and she understands fighting for a greater cause. But then she's also, I feel like she fills a void for John Connor that was left for him by his mother, Sarah Connor. She was always protecting him, and she wasn't able to be vulnerable with him, and she wasn't able to support his emotions necessarily because she knew that his mission was so huge in life. And I think that what you see with Kate Connor is that she's similar to Sarah Connor in some regards, but in other ways, she's a much more emotional character, and she's there for the man, not the myth. And I felt like that was important because this movie, what I think is really distinctive about this film is it's not about the John Connor being that mythic character. It's about what it took for him to be that, and it's about the formulation of the resistance, and it's before the resistance got their act together. And I think that the man of John Connor needs that kind of support and needs that sounding board.
Having actors like Christian Bale and Sam Worthington to play off of, I mean, the intensity on this set must have been, but perfect characters, perfect actors.
Yeah.
What was it like for you guys to work opposite these guys?
Great. I mean, they're both, I mean, the subject matter was really intense, but I mean, I found it to be a really fun, light, kind of bizarrely joyful experience, right?
It was funny when I first met Sam. I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna get along with this guy, because he's very reserved when you first meet him. He's very, like, a lot of distance. I was like, I don't know, it's gonna be a brutal 5 months, and the more we saw each other's work ethic, and the more he saw that I knew what I was talking about, and the more we got to know each other, the more we were like, God, we're really similar. We're going to have a great time. And we just became good friends. And I had nothing but the best experience with him and working out the scenes. And he's such a giving actor. And also, same thing with Christian, It's nice to be around people that are dedicated to making this thing the best thing that it can be.
Yeah, and they get out of their own way, too. I mean, it's like never, sometimes, like, people talk about, like, method actors, and it becomes, like, a little... it's what's necessary for them, but it seems a little self-obsessed, or it takes up a little bit of space. I mean, I never felt that way at all. I mean, they're dedicated and focused, but they're, first and foremost, they're hard workers, they're great guys to work with, and they make it a really pleasant experience.
Now, such a dirty, gritty, grimy set. I just need to know how many showers you people had to take at the end of every day.
Oh, yeah. No, that's true. Yeah, I was always washing my hair every day, which I don't customarily do.
I wasn't. I just stayed the way I was. Just came home, slept in the same clothes. My apartment was awful. I mean, it was trash. It was disgusting.
That's not true. Anton's, like, flossing every day.
Yeah, I mean...
I understand you're the Steven Seagal of the set.
I am indeed the Steven Seagal. My chair actually said Seagal. And they'd go, Seagal to set, and I'd appear with my ponytail and my robe. And my Dobermans.
And you kicked butt.
And I did. Threw some people through some windows, did a couple crotch kicks.
Oh my God.
Good on you. Why was McGee the perfect director for this?
Because he's the ultimate fan.
Yeah.
And he also approached it with a tremendous amount of humility. I mean, he didn't go into this saying, oh, I'm unquestionably the best director. He said, I am unquestionably going to work my hardest, and I'm going to collaborate with the best people possible, and I just want to preserve a singular vision of what I think is possible for this franchise. And he's just stayed true to that the entire time, and I think he's brilliant, and I think he did an excellent job.
Well, you guys did an excellent job. It's so
Thank
fantastic, Anna. And kudos to you also for Star Trek. Man, blockbuster summer for you?
Yeah, he's king of summer.
Are you ready for this onslaught that's going to come to you this summer? Or?
I don't know. Hopefully it'll be an onslaught of roles.
It should
I'd
be.
be down for that.
He doesn't.
Thank you so much. I'm not
Thank you
talking
very
to you
much.
guys again.